So thank you so much for joining us here on Nomads 50 Plus. My name is Chris Kalaboukis, and it's my current mission to interview 1,000 digital nomads and or midlife recalibrators and or people who are trying to make their lives better after 50. And today we have a very special guest who's neither a digital nomad nor a midlife recalibrator, or maybe you are. I don't know. We have to talk.
Potentially.
And one of the things that's near and dear to my audience's heart, I'm sure, is longevity, or thinking about sort of living longer, better lives. And that's why I thought I'd reach out to somebody in the longevity community and say, hey, come on and tell us all about it and see what you can do to help. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell us your story?
Yeah, of course. So my name is Franz Snideman. I'm 52 years old. I'm a father of 4 kids.
No, you don't. You look like you're in your 30s, man. It must be your
I wish.
longevity
I
protocol.
wish. Oh my God, I wish. I wish. Yeah. So I've really I've had a pretty I would say like a pretty singular life in terms of my career. I haven't done a lot of things. I've done a lot of things in the fitness and health space, but I've never done anything outside of that. So
Right.
you could say I'm very kind of a generalist in the fitness industry, but yet I'm not a generalist because I've never done real, I know a lot of people they switch industries and I never have. So my passion has always been movement. I was very much kind of that kid that was probably undiagnosed ADHD as a kid, and movement was my savior. And I got into sports at a young age with 2 very intellectual college professor parents that said, no, read, Shakespeare. What are you doing? Like, what's this exercise stuff?
Sports? What are you doing? Are you
Exactly.
crazy? Have you lost your mind?
Completely. Completely. So that was my identity at a very young age. And at 52, I made the right choice because it's my obsession, it's my passion. I also feel like it's just my calling to help people age better. Obviously, when you're 25, you're not really worried about aging. When you're 52, and all your clients are now older, all your family's older, it becomes it's just a real reality that we're all getting older, and we can't change that, but we can certainly change the way that we age, and we can make like that second half of life, or depending, what age you're in, you can make it really, really good, and that is my goal. And it's fun. It's like I honestly, I honestly feel, Chris, that I don't really work. I
Nice.
don't like. I'm lucky that people pay me to educate them and to coach them, but I don't feel like I've ever really had a job. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. So I was a friend of mine who is exactly the same age as me. He's also a Greek Canadian. I met him here when we were both worked at Yahoo, and he is like same height as me and ridiculously fit, like
Okay.
unbelievably fit. And he used to play basketball in high school, and he was a all-star, and he did a lot of athletic things when he was younger. And now I look at him compared to me, and I'm thought, wow, man, you are so much healthier than I am. I wish I would have done that when I was younger. Is there anything I can do to reverse myself or get myself closer to what he was where he's at? Because every time I meet with him, it just makes me feel bad about myself. I'm like, shit, why didn't I do that when I was that age?
Yeah, well, the good news, though, I think the good news is, Chris, is that we know so much more now, and it's like I look at my parents' generation, right? They were born in the 30s, or early 40s and 30s. So, but that generation didn't have access to the information that we have. But it's not only the information; it's the ability to see people. You see people aging well, and it's not like we don't have evidence that it works. Because you look
Yeah.
at people, you're like, oh, well, why are they moving that way at 85? Why at 70? Why are they like squatting and doing pull-up? Like, what's the difference?
Yeah.
And I think if you're alive and have a heartbeat, you can change, and that is the beautiful thing. But more than anything, it's more of a change of the mind and the mindset, and it's almost like when Roger Bannister, the famous British runner, when he broke the 4-minute mile, the scientists said for decades, said it's physically impossible. You cannot
Right.
break the 4-minute mile,
Yes, I remember that.
because that was the mindset. And then he
Mhm.
broke the 4-minute mile, and then within 25 days, somebody else did it. And then now high schoolers are breaking the 4-minute mile. So it's really, the aging to me is like the Roger Bannister thing. If you believe that you can do it, yeah, you can. Like, I can't make you go back and be 32, But you can start to change the gene expression. You can start to change the hormones that are being pumped out, albeit not like we're 16, but your body is not a static, flat organism. It reacts to what we think, to how, our perspectives on the ceilings that we give ourselves. And for most people, unfortunately, not you, because I can already see you already have that kind of curious, like, whoa, what can I do so that I can reverse some of these things and I can be better in whatever, XYZ, pull ups or body
Yeah.
fat or whatever. So, yeah, it's very possible, but it starts with kind of this collective mindset that it's possible, number one, and then it's just the action steps are never as important, in my opinion, as the belief that you can actually do it.
Mm, mm. Yeah, because I think we've entered a stage now where we're all going to live a lot longer. Like when you
Yeah,
hear, yeah, I see this billboard on the freeway say the first person born, or there's someone born today who will live to be 120, and I'm like, I think that's short. I think we're probably
yeah,
with the advances in modern medicine and everyone being a lot more into health and wellness and longevity, is that 120 is probably the bottom, the lowest side of things. We're gonna start looking at 130, 140. Who knows where we're
yeah.
gonna
Who
go?
knows? It's gonna be
Yeah.
interesting. It's gonna be interesting. But yeah, certainly advances in medicine, and now something as pervasive as heart disease, which is the number one killer of all things. Like everybody thinks it's cancer. I'm like, cancer is terrible, but not even close. Not even in
Right.
the same conversation. Heart disease that you can eradicate. That's the one disease that we can actually, if you take the right interventions before you have a heart attack, or maybe if you do have a heart attack, that is the one disease that if you get your blood work right, assuming like somebody's not already completely clogged up and already has full stage
Right.
heart disease. I'm not. That's I can't do anything about that. But
Sure.
somebody who's trying to prevent heart disease, yeah, you're absolutely right. Like that is, you can take that risk off the table, getting your blood pressure down, taking the right pharmacological drugs if you have the genetics. I do have the genetics. My dad died of a heart attack, so I knew that. I was kind of lucky. I'm bummed I lost my dad early, but I also realized like, well, I've got the genes for heart disease. Maybe I should look underneath the hood. And yeah, I mean, it's about years of prevention, so that yeah, I'm going to die of something, but it's not going to be of heart disease.
Right. So you
Right?
have, I mean, you have a genetic propensity for it, but it
Everybody
sounds
does.
like
Everybody has a genetic predisposition to something,
right.
right?
Right. Yeah, because if in my family it's cancer.
Okay.
Right? I don't have
Yeah.
anybody who passed away from heart disease, but
Okay.
they all have had some cancer. My dad had kidney cancer, my mom had breast cancer. They didn't die, she didn't die from breast cancer, but so
Right.
they both had cancer in the family. So and I know way back that's what they had. So there's no heart disease, but there is cancer. But so let's step back for a second. So you're saying that on the scale, because they keep saying heart disease and cancer, is heart disease like way up higher than cancer on the scale,
I
or is
mean,
it
I don't know what the exact analytics on that are right at the moment, but there's a very good book called Outlive by Peter Attia, who's a medical doctor, and man, he's got some really interesting kind of graphs in there. And I like when he asked the question, I'm like, oh, it's probably cancer. Like I'm sure cancer is number one. It's not. Cancer's
mm,
not. It's not number one. Heart disease kills more people from a percentage standpoint. So
really?
yeah, yeah. So you start asking yourself, like, wow, like that is the number one killer. That is probably something that every single human at a pretty young age should find out. And now there's no excuses, because now you can take like $5, $10 test and you can find out like, okay, what's your particle size? Like, what's your
Yeah.
LP little a, which is this totally genetic. It's like the particle size that you kind of have. You can manipulate it a little bit, but not really.
Right.
It's like your eye color. Like you're not really going to change your eye color, Chris. Like probably not,
No.
unless you wear contacts,
Unless
right?
there were contacts, yeah.
Right, but yeah, but then there's so many other factors. But you look at like LDL and HDL and something called ApoB, like APB as in boy, apoprotein B. Like that is the actual, without getting nerdy, that is the molecule that causes the soft plaque to actually form in the arterial
Mm,
wall. And if that is high, that's correlated, that's causal for heart disease, not like correlate, causal. causes
Right.
heart disease, causes your arteries to be full of soft plaque, they break up and you have a heart attack. Well, if you get your ApoB levels down to a low enough level, you will never technically form, you won't form that soft plaque.
Wow. And there's
Yeah.
ways of doing that. You
Well,
just
that,
it's not something
well,
it's not a foregone conclusion. Once you have
no,
high
well, for
levels, you can.
most people, that have it, and remember, I mean, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm going to guess more than half of the population has got pretty shitty genetics for heart disease. Just
Right.
just based on the numbers.
Right.
With enough years of prevention, yeah, you can. There are pharmacological aids available now with very minimal side effects that can go in there and stop that soft plaque formation, and in some cases reverse it. Again, I'm not a doctor, but I do have a client that actually reversed it. Like I think in a year, like 22% soft plaque gone, just gone out of his
Fantastic.
carotid, gone. I have
Wow.
no how. But he was taking a certain drug, which
Right.
is expensive, but it won't be expensive for much longer. So very possible. So I'm very much an optimist with all this stuff because I think that there's a lot of nuance when it comes to health, right? I think we just want to be in one camp. I'm anti-drug, or I'm only vegan, or I'm only carnivore, or I'm like it's like the the truth is that there's so much gray,
Mm.
and both sides are kind of right. But to somebody who's got like terrible heart, like heart disease, and he becomes a vegan and gets all the cholesterol out of his diet and dies at 47. This is a client of mine.
Mm.
God rest his soul. He died at 47. Doesn't matter. You can have the best diet on the planet. If you've got the genetics, sometimes you got to take the pharmacological aid, right?
Yeah.
So a
Yeah.
lot of gray area, not like a black or white
Yeah.
discussion,
Well, there's a couple
but
things
it's
I want to say
yeah,
there. It's like I think when it comes to diet, this is why the diet industry is so massively huge because all of these diets that are out there are specific to a particular individual, right?
yeah.
Every single person, I think every like of the 8 billion people on the planet, every single person needs a different diet from
I
every
agree.
other single person. You can't go to person A and say person A diet worked great for them. You go to person B and use the same diet. It might not work for them at all.
No, it
It could
might make
be
them sick. It might make them
exactly.
sick.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
every
no, no, no.
diet is individualized for each person.
100%, and that's where personal accountability, which is kind of a tough word in health these days, because everybody wants a cure and whatever. They want
Yeah,
to
where's my magic pill, man? Where's the
exactly.
cream that makes the pain go away?
But yes, everybody needs to be their own detective because biochemical individuality is very real.
Yes.
I mean, I'm an identical twin. I'm an identical twin, which means that we're same genes, but
Yep.
our diets are different. My diet, because I don't.
Seriously?
We're
Even
genetic, like basically clones. We look the same. He's a physical therapist in Phoenix, but we have had a similar career. But he can handle foods that I cannot handle. He can eat beans. I've never been able to eat beans. Ruins me.
wow.
I'm up all night. It's terrible. He can eat spicy food. I can't really eat spicy food. And we're genetic because why? Because life is different. Your
Right.
thinking is different. I've had different medical issues. He's had different medical issues. Like life is, everybody's an experiment of one, and but that doesn't mean there's not commonalities. It doesn't mean there's not like generalities that apply to all of us. Like they do.
Sure.
Science as a field is very solid. However, there's just so much individuality, which I mean, we could have this conversation for hours.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've been through every diet under the sun, and they work for a while, and then they stop, and then you try something else, and that works for a while, and then you stop, and it's kind of like there's nothing. I haven't found the right thing that works best for me, and I think that's where a lot of people are. Is that they don't find the one that's right for them because it works for a while, and then it stops, right? Or
Yeah,
something changes.
yeah, yeah, it's frustrating. I think that as the body changes, your food needs might change as well. So I think reframing the question instead of saying what's the best diet for me, how am I feeling? Do I have energy? like it's like, do I feel good of where I am? That's more important
Right.
than, am I on the right diet? Like I understand, like it really is nice to have structure with your food and to kind of put yourself in a camp, because then you're like, oh, I've got a border, I've got a playpen, and
Yeah.
you know,
I'm doing keto, so this is
right,
exactly what
right,
I need
right.
to do.
So,
Yeah.
but like if you step back and you just zoom back to much broader view, say like, okay, well, what do I really need to be alive? Like, like I need these nutrients. Okay, so those have got to be present, right? Like I need enough essential fats for my brain and my joints, and okay, I need enough protein. My body doesn't make protein. I got to eat protein to keep my organs alive. Like organs are made of basically proteins. So if you take a broader view, then it doesn't become as complicated. You're like, oh, like it doesn't matter how you get them. It just matters like, oh, well, I vomit every time I eat this, but I feel great eating this, and there's your answer, right? Right. So if so it's
Quality
more
of life
about
makes
fun.
is important.
Yeah, it's about finding what works for you, and then like
Right.
not overthinking it. Like you
Mm.
don't. Like, there is no perfect diet. There's no perfect like. It's we're we're funny. Humans are funny because I mean I'm similar. I've been a keto guy. I've been a carb. I've done them all, and I basically came back to just I want to get enough protein. I eat enough fiber. As I get older, I realize like with colon cancer and stuff, I'm like I got to eat a lot of fiber and a lot of protein, and then the carbs fluctuate depending on my activity level, and that's basically as complicated as I get with diet.
Yeah.
Right? Well, I mean, and that for most people, I think works. And if you're moving, 30,000 steps a day, you're going to need a little more carbs than somebody who's not, moving. So it
Yeah.
doesn't, I think the question to ask is how simple can I make my
Yeah.
nutrition? How simple can I make this? How sustainable? And then the word that people forget is at the bottom of the pyramid. It should be foods that I enjoy.
Yes.
Number one.
Exactly.
It's like,
Exactly.
why does eating have to be this horrible, like, oh, I gotta eat sardines and boy, I mean, I hate sardines. I mean, look, if you like sardines, anybody
Hey, I love
watching,
sardines, man.
okay, it's great. Yeah, no, I have friends that love sardines. I just don't like them.
Yeah.
It's just like, so it's like, guess what, Chris? I don't eat them. But does that make me a bad person?
No.
No.
But what if the foods that you love are like burgers and hot dogs and French fries and all the bad stuff?
Well, they're not bad. Like food doesn't have a moral code. It's not bad.
Right.
Like
Right.
we don't need to demonize food. I would just say, well, why don't we just make that a smaller percentage of your diet? Like if
Right.
you love burgers, keep burgers in your diet, right? Like, but don't do it every day. Do it like once a week, twice a week,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So like if you eat, I mean, let's say I don't know, somebody's eating 3 or 4 meals a day, 4 times 7. Let's say realistically, people are eating 25 to 35 meals a week.
Hmm.
That's what everybody does.
Yeah.
Well, if 2 of those were burgers out of 35, like who cares?
Yeah.
Big deal. Doesn't mean
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Then like
When
eat
you
some
look at it in
chicken, and
context like that, it's actually not so bad.
it's not so bad. No, and then I think it's the guilting and it's the demonizing of food. Bad. Oh, you're not eating clean. Oh, Franz, you're gonna be so proud of me. I took out all the bad food. I'm like, what? Stop. Stop. You don't need to do that. No. No.
No.
Look, the people that eat perfect food, that they eat like no seed oils, and they like maybe lick a grape for car, they're gonna die too. They're gonna end up dead.
We're all going to that
Yeah,
place.
so you can enjoy a percentage of food should be like really enjoyable. Like
Yeah.
it's not. I'm more of a realist, and I'm more of I don't believe in self-flagellation in life. I don't.
Yeah.
I think 80% of what you do should be wholesome, natural foods that kind of grow out of the earth, and that. But again, if you enjoy it, then you're more apt to keep eating the food that you like. So find a way to make the healthy foods taste good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting you should say that because it's kind of like when you think about the having a diet. I mean, a lot of people aren't very restrictive. Like they go, "Oh, I want to be on carnivore or something like that," and carnivore is just super restricted. But there's
Yeah.
also the cognitive piece of it. It's like when you're on these diets, whether like let's say you're on caloric restriction, right? I
Yeah.
know a lot of people who are in CR and they go, "Well, I only do 900 calories a day." That means you have to track every single freaking calorie, right? And you have to know
Yes.
exactly what you're doing. Like the overhead to manage all this, it's just makes it more likely for you not to keep going with it because it's just too much work,
I
right?
think it depends on the human because I've had some very like kind of accounting analytical people
Right.
that when I gave them just principles, they didn't do well. They actually needed
Mm,
to out and they so I there but again, I don't think that's a large percentage of people.
right.
I think I think there are people that their brains are very they just need objective data because the
Mm,
data just doesn't lie. The data is the data, right? You have this objective data. I think most people are kind of in the middle. I'm not anti like tracking. I just don't think it's a sustainable habit.
right.
I think for a season or maybe even a week, like somebody can't lose weight at all. They're like, well, I mean, I don't know what I mean. I'm like, just track your calories for a week and write it down or put it in Claude or something and just be honest with it and then you'll find out why you're not losing weight. But it doesn't mean you need to do that forever.
Right.
But awareness for some people is really the only way that they're gonna, that they're going to change because a lot of people, it's very easy to self-deceive yourself, and me included. I've been a trainer for 30 years, and I'm sure I do it too. Like, oh, I'm eating this. Yeah, like, no, you didn't count the M&Ms. My daughter had an old piece of pizza. My wife wanted a margarita at a party. Like, how come I didn't track that?
That's right. You
Right?
forgot the booze.
Yeah.
It's funny you should mention about tracking because so this friend of mine who's the same age as me, who's like super fit, he's also one of those quantified self guys, like
Yeah.
from way back. And he used to blood test himself. He would get a full workup all the time. And now he's got, even though he doesn't have diabetes or anything like that, he has a CGM, he's got spreadsheets running back like 20 years. And it's like, do you need to get to that level of tracking to decide what direction you should be going in?
I mean, I look there. Data does remove some drama to some point. So, like, yeah, I'm
Right.
not anti-data. I like data, but I think what I have noticed is that some people they get so obsessed with perfect blood and perfect blood sugar, and their sleep on their aura ring was a little bit, and
Yeah.
they become so obsessed and neurotic that that obsession with perfection makes them unhealthy.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
you're like I don't want what you have. If you want to do that, God bless you, do it. I don't want to do that. Now, do I track my sleep? Yes. I track my sleep with my Apple Watch. Is it super
Same.
accurate?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
It gives me a sleep score. I track it. I have a really cool heart rate HRV thing called Morpheus, which I put
Ooh.
every morning, and that is I think the most accurate for HRV and for recovery because the ring's awesome, but the heart rate strap is a different tech. I'm not saying it's better; it's just different. Um, but
HRV
it's
is
simple.
really important though. Like HRV as a as a
Yeah,
as a metric,
yeah.
right?
HRV and recovery usually kind of ride together, right? So I do track, but I don't like. I basically just track my autonomic nervous system, which tells me overall how is my nervous system responding to stress and my family and bills and I got to travel. Like how does it? So it's basically just like a scorecard,
Right.
but it usually correlates really well with your mental stress and your physical stress or lack of it. And I do think there's some value to that, especially as you get older. It helps you make wiser decisions, at least for me and my clients, with your training. Like,
Hmm.
okay, you're probably not going to go on that 5 mile run today. Your recovery is like 45, it's usually 98. And, why don't we do a lighter run? Or, you're so inflamed and everything hurts. Like, well, let's just do some breathing and parasympathetic like mobility work today. And like, let's just get your body calmed down. But body's not static; it'll bounce back in a day or two, and then boom, then you can hit it hard again.
For
So
sure.
yeah, I'm more into that type of tracking, but it's very simple, and I don't I am not like the extreme guys like Ben Greenfield or some of these guys that like tracks everything. I mean, people do that and they swear by it. I don't think it's necessary.
So when it comes to sort of like the minimum set of tracking that you should do, what would you suggest you should start with?
Well, I think blood pressure number one. At least do it once a week if you're a guy. I mean,
Oh,
even
once a week, that's all?
well, if it's under control.
Right.
If your blood pressure is not under control, yeah, take it every day. Take it in the morning. And I mean, some guys just are going to need a tiny little bit of blood pressure medication. If they can't get it under control, if they're exercising and they're sleeping pretty good and like their blood pressure is still high, I'm like, this just might be genetics. It may not be your fault. You're not doing
Right.
anything wrong. Like there's no shame in a guy having to take a blood pressure pill. Like that's
Yeah.
not bad. But we know that high blood pressure, increase in strokes, increase in heart attack, it's causal. It's causal for heart disease. So that pressure in the artery, it does it does cause damage.
Right.
So I would say number one, blood pressure. Number two, I'm a big fan of just I mean, some people use the Whoop or the Fitbit or whatever. Like I think the Morpheus is I've used them all, and to me, this is the simplest. I think it's like $70.
And
It's
what
not.
does that track? Does that track everything or is it just
No,
track?
no, no, no. It just tracks HRV and
Hmm.
it tracks recovery. But you wear it when you train. So
Oh, only when you're
yeah, yeah,
training.
yeah. It's got a strap that you put
Okay.
on. And when I do walking, when I walk, when I do cardio, it basically what it does is over weeks it tells you what the intensity zones that you need to be in. So like if it's let's say for example, blue is like easy zone one, zone two. And that should be the bulk of most people's training, right? Because it's not super stressful on your body, but it's good for you. But if you're having a really stressful week, it might say, okay, we recommended you get 150 to 250 minutes of zone two. This week, we only recommend 120 to 150. So it changes. It's not static. The recommendations for the different heart rate zones change based on what's going on with your life, Chris. So,
Mm,
like, if your recovery is really low in your HRV, it does give you a recommendation for very high heart rate training, like zone five, like max heart rate, 150, 160, 170, 180. But on some weeks, it might say, yeah, you're good to go 7 to 9 minutes total for the whole week, right? For the
nice.
whole week. And then on some weeks, mine says like 1 to 3 minutes. So what's great
Seriously?
about it is that it treats you as you are this week. It doesn't treat you. It's not some model like, oh, well, you're 52, you've got to do. No, this is real time. So
Mm,
your training should never be fully 100% structured. The structure needs to be flexible based on how your nervous system is doing and based on your recovery. Like if you're waking up and you're not sleeping well, your joints hurt, you're inflamed, it's hard to breathe. You're like, don't push yourself further into a hole,
mm,
right? Do things that are a little more energizing. Maybe you need more social life. Maybe you need a date with your wife or your girlfriend, or maybe you need a trip. Maybe you just need to get out of town and just stop thinking about work for a week or so. I mean, I
yeah.
don't know, but there's a time and a place to train hard. But I like tools that allow me that just kind of tell me that what I'm feeling is not inaccurate, right?
Right. So
It's like, hey
if you
man,
don't
yeah,
have one of those devices, is an Apple Watch with the monitor on there good
perfect,
enough? Or
yeah, good
yeah,
enough, yeah,
it's good enough. And what about the Oura Ring? Because the reason I'm asking is, so Peter Diamandis, right?
yeah,
The
yeah,
so
yeah,
he's on this huge longevity kick now, and
yeah.
the other day I saw his protocol, and it was insane. It was like I get up at 4:30, I do this, I do red light therapy, I do this and this and this, and then he has this supplement stack which is a mile high. We'll talk about supplements in a little bit, but it's like the amount of, and it's like no negotiation. I do this every night, like exactly 8 hours of sleep, blah blah blah, and I'm like it seems like there's so much overhead to something like that. It's like don't. It's like you're shaking your head.
I mean, look. I people have the agency to do whatever they want to do, and it works for him. Great,
Yeah.
but I think it's potentially harmful to
Mm,
tell people, or at least to kind of to suggest that in order to be healthy, you've got to do this caliber or this level of complexity. Health is
right.
not that complex.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need frequent inoculations of positive physical exercise.
Hmm.
Doesn't mean they need to be hours, or, I mean, they could be 20 minutes, it could be 30 minutes, it could be, I take a 5-minute walk 10 times a day, but doesn't matter. Like, being healthy is not overly complicated.
Right.
And um, what's more important is that is understanding what a human body needs to be healthy,
Mm.
right? But certainly doesn't need $8,000 worth of supplements. It doesn't need red light therapy, or, I mean, or like, green drinks. And like, I mean, if you want to take them and you feel better, we know placebo works. If you
Right.
feel something's helping you and your life is enhanced, don't take my word. I mean, if you feel good doing something, great. Right? Absolutely. I mean, I'm not. I don't want to discourage people, but I do want to encourage people to also, like, is what you're doing. Ask yourself, is what I'm doing sustainable over the long run, and is it somewhat enjoyable? And
Right.
I'm more of a process guy. I want you to find a way to make the process kind of enjoyable, so that you're not fighting yourself. Oh, I got to go to the gym, or oh, I got to take these 90. Oh, I hate swallowing. Oh, they get
Yeah.
stuck in my. Like, it just becomes like, let's simplify it.
Yeah.
Let's say, okay, maybe there's 100 things you're doing. What are the 20 things that are really going to give you 80% of the result? It's like the Pareto principle. Like,
Yeah.
let's get less. I mean, sorry, let's get more with less things.
Mm.
Same thing with exercise. I don't think you need 72 exercises.
Yeah.
You might have 2 to 4 exercises you're doing right now that
Yeah.
really are the ones that are going to, drive muscle mass, drive fat loss. They're, for whatever reason, fitting your joint structure better because of you just the way your shoulders are, your hips. Like, there's no one way to do it, but it's more about what can you do, what can you sustain. And again, I'm going to bring it back to enjoyable. A lot of the
Mm.
fitness people say you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You got to go into a cold plunge and say it's not cold. It's not cold. I'm like, fuck you. It's cold. Like, 38 degrees is fucking cold. Fuck you. No, it's cold. I hate that bullshit. It's like, oh, my coach says I need to, but like, if maybe 50 degrees is cold enough. Don't you know who, like, I hate the dogmatic nature of the fitness industry. And
Yeah.
I probably contributed to some of the problems in the fitness industry, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It's so dogmatic. Right? No. Like, yeah, get marginally uncomfortable, but like, not like, you don't need to tell yourself that something isn't what it is. If you
Yeah.
don't like it, you don't like it.
Yeah. Because if you don't like it, you're not going to continue doing it. Right. You're going to stop. You're going to say, well, this sucks. I'm freezing my nuts off. I'm never going to do this again. Right.
Right. And like, look, like, I've distilled my entire philosophy for training into a simple system, which is called the 4 quadrant system, which is basically every human, and you can put whatever you want in whatever category, but every human needs a certain level of strength, right?
Mm.
Can you create tension to move stuff around and protect your spine? Everybody needs a certain level of power. Can you, like, jump over a sidewalk? Can you leap over a river? Can you, like, sprint down the street? God forbid. Like, can you
Right.
have some speed in your body?
Yeah.
Like the fast switch. Everybody needs a freedom, like their joints. Like, if you can't turn your head at all, like, you don't have freedom in your body.
Yeah.
So we
Exactly.
need some ability to rotate and move our bodies. And then the fourth one is endurance. You need some capacity. So as long as, like, you're checking the boxes in any capacity in those sections, like, you're okay. Like,
Hmm.
and you just don't stop. If you're 80 years old, don't stop. You want to play
Yeah.
pickleball? Well, pickleball's power, right? You're smashing them, but that's power,
Yeah.
right? You want to swing a kettlebell because you can't sprint? Fine. That's power. Or
Hmm.
snatch a kettlebell? Great. You like hiking up a hill? Well, that's endurance.
Hmm.
You're like, I can't squat, it hurts my knees, but I can do deadlifts. Great. Do
Yeah.
deadlifts. Or I like push-ups and pull-ups. Great. I don't. It doesn't matter. What matters is, Chris. What can Chris do? If
Mm.
I want Chris to do 2 strength training sessions with a little bit of power and mobility work, what, like, I think the bigger question to ask is, what am I naturally gifted at?
Mm.
Nobody asked that question. And physically, you have gifts, physically. Some people have long torsos, short torsos, long legs. Some people's femurs are like, they're like so impacted in their hips naturally, they just have no mobility. Other
Mm.
people have these loosey-goosey hips and they're like, they have no stability.
Yeah.
So the thing is, you can't change your structure. I mean, you can alter it a little bit in terms of way the bones sit, like posture and habits, but you
Yeah. Yeah.
can't. I can't change your bone length, right?
Mm.
I can't change your.
I heard that there are ways of doing that.
Oh God! Oh God! Maybe there are. Yeah, maybe there are.
I think it's something else. People who want to, shorter people who want to get taller, apparently you can do something with your leg bones. I don't know, and
Yeah, but
it
okay,
sounds bizarre.
but for the most part, genetics are real, right?
Yes,
Like I
yes,
always tell
exactly.
people, like I was a very good high school basketball player, and I always tell people, man, I was so good at high school basketball. I was like this close to being in the NBA. You know,
Yeah,
if I was just a foot taller, right? You can't coach height. You can't coach height.
no,
So again, when you're looking at your training, when you're looking at things, you got to filter it through you. Like what excites your brain?
yeah,
If somebody says, "Oh, I hate going to the gym," I'm like, "All right. Well, what about like these calisthenic classes where people doing gymnastics? Oh, I love that. So, okay, you found your thing,
yeah.
right? Or somebody says, "Oh, I hate treadmills. I hate bikes." I'm like, "Have you heard of a mountain?" Right? Is there a body of water, a lake that you can kind of walk around? Oh, I love nature. I love flight. There you go. Like,
And well, we have the extra benefit of nature. Nature is an extra benefit because not only are you getting the exercise, you're also being in nature, which is sort of the natural state of humankind, right? We enjoy and are energized by being back in nature. I hate the fact that we stick ourselves in these little boxes, and then we don't go out and enjoy the natural world, because I think it really makes a huge difference, both mentally and physically, right?
yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, if I don't get out into nature, at least get outside like once a day. Like I go crazy. I mean, I have kids, so I
Yeah,
go to the park. I coach soccer. Like I'm always outside.
yeah,
I would go crazy. I
yeah.
mean, I predominantly work from home. I built a studio, a training studio in my garage. So I have a
Nice.
full training studio, and racks and kettlebells and everything. Um, I used to own a gym for 17 years, and then
Hmm.
during COVID, the best thing I did was get rid of the staff and trainers, and this was so much better to work at home.
Yeah.
But there is nothing like being in nature. Nature is healing. Nature is you just like you don't even need to explain it. You just get
Mm.
people out there. You're in the forest or like it's just it's who we are. It's who we
That's it,
are.
man. You have inspired me. I'm going to go for a hike after this.
You have to,
Definitely going to go
man. You have to. And send me a photo.
for I will. So let's talk about exercise, because you were saying it, like what's the minimum viable. I know that there's a big like cardio versus weight training, and I know you're going to probably say both are good.
Yeah.
Is there just like a minimum viable exercise workout plan that people should pick? Like pick someone from zero, like you're sedentary, you work all day long, you hardly ever spend any time exercising. What would be like the minimum viable exercise plan
I
for
mean,
somebody like that?
yeah, I think, to get well, really, it's twofold. To get somebody just healthy mentally, like they just need to start moving in any capacity. So I would say
Right.
daily, because walking's not going to increase hunger levels like doing stairmaster as hard as you can for an hour. That's going to jack up your hunger. So I would say walking, and as you get more fit, walking at a brisk pace.
Hmm.
Maybe you and I are walking. We're still talking. Our heart rate's high, but we can still have a conversation. Like that's probably a good place to start. So we're
Right.
like, you're not going so slow that the 90-year-old down the street's passing you. Like you got to have, like swing your arm, like have a little bit of vitality in your walk, but it's got to be sustainable. So I would
Right.
say whatever I do think people should track their steps, mainly because it's just a good litmus test for like if you're walking more and feel good, it proves to you that your body can handle it, and that
Right.
and you get more confident, and your identity changes.
Yeah.
You're a walker, you're a mover. That's great. We want your identity to change. So I would say daily walking. And so if somebody's doing 4,000 steps, do 6,000 steps.
Hmm.
Somebody's doing 8,000 steps, do 10. Like
Hmm.
there's no set number. I just say do 2,000 steps more than you're doing,
Right.
right? Just to increase circulation, right? You raise your body temperature a little bit. You kind of start getting the nervous system going. Then I would say minimum 2 days of strength.
Mm.
Maybe other people would say you need 4. Yeah, but if you're not strong or you haven't developed you haven't even scratched your strength capacity, you don't need to train that much because anything you do is above and beyond what you're currently doing. So people
Right.
that are generally the weakest and most unfit, they see the fastest results
Right.
because they're
And then
not
when
at
you
a high
say
level.
two
If I get an
days, like,
elite level athlete, I can't get them much better. They're already elite.
yeah. When you say 2 days, you mean like an hour, half an hour, or
Yeah,
how long do you spend in the
30
gym?
to 30, 30 to 45 minutes. I mean, there's no set. I mean, I would say I wouldn't even go an hour because this might be too much for the organism. And you have
Mm.
to ask yourself, like, I mean, more isn't better. It's just if you're doing, let's say, a full body workout, which is what I typically recommend. I'm not a big fan of the bodybuilding workouts and I'm not against them. Like, chest one day or chest and arms and back and biceps, or I'm doing abs and calves
Yeah, but
today.
that's like an advanced, intermediate, advanced level when you want to get up to
No,
those kind
I
of
don't
things.
even know. I don't think it's advanced. I just think it's
Really?
bodybuilding.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it's not wrong. It's better than nothing. But I think what's better for people who want to make a faster fitness change is to think of the body as one piece. So every workout, the way that I train, that I train my clients is full body. You do at least one leg exercise, one full body pushing or pressing exercise, and one full body rowing or pulling exercise. And then if there's time, maybe a core, some kind of rotational movement, some kind of a carry. But if there's no time, and people are really limited, because I mean, I know what it is to be busy and have kids and soccer practice, and then you just run out of time.
Yeah.
So in like a
But
20
if you
win,
could build it into your daily whatever you're doing, like when you have
right.
soccer practice, I'm sure you're running around, yelling at the kids too, right? When you're
Yeah. So, but I would say like that's a very simple template. Is what I call a metabolic tricep. You just do a leg push and a pull, and there's 80
mm,
million leg exercises. I can't do squats. Well, can you lunge? Yeah, I can lunge. Okay, there you go.
hmm,
Right? Oh, I can't do deadlifts, but I can do step ups. There you go.
yeah,
Or whatever you like, hamstring machine. Fine. Like it. What's more important is that you're getting a global inoculation of stress,
mm,
just enough. And every time you do that, you're telling your body you're capable, you're strong, and you're also telling it to adapt, right? Because you stress the tendon, you stress the ligament, you stress the muscle tissue. It's like going out into the sun. What does your body do? It produces melanin. Why? Because the skin was just damaged. It says,
yeah,
holy crap, I'm going to build a layer to protect me from the sun, which is
right,
why I'm so tan right now because I'm in the sun. I'm usually pretty white,
hmm,
but so it's the same thing. You don't. It's not about doing as much as possible, but it's about those frequent inoculations. Everything in fitness, in my experience, is about signaling. What
mm,
is the signal you're sending? And when you get a consistent signal, the body has to change, right? There's a concept called form follows function. Well, you look at an F1 race car, it looks a lot different than like a 1950 Ford pickup truck.
yeah,
One of them has got much more aerodynamic. So when you start doing athletic things, or you start asking your body to do like strength things, the form of your body has to change. Because then it's saying, oh, I'm not efficient the way that I am, the way that my structure is now. Your brain says, this is not, if he's or he or she's going to keep doing this, I have to change. Well, the only way to change is for your body to produce different hormones, right?
hmm,
Everything's hormones. And the hormones go in and they chisel off some fat. They make maybe you produce a little more natural GLP-1 because now your hunger is a little more regulated because you're moving a lot more. The muscle mass is kind of changed your appetite. Now you want a little more protein. Maybe you want a little like healthier fat. Um, so I'm a big believer in getting people to build a bigger engine, not
mm,
bodybuilders, but like build a big enough engine so that you you're just naturally a little more regulated and things get better. Like it's not overnight, but your appetite comes a little more under control. You don't have the wild. you know, like, one day you're not hungry, the next day you eat the whole day.
Yeah.
So
And this is
it's
the
more about, I'm
all of
sorry.
this contributes to the reduction in heart disease, right? The movement is the key thing.
Yeah, because if you think about it, I mean, what do you think your muscles are?
Mm,
They're like little hearts,
mm.
right? I mean, in fact, there's research that shows that the soleus muscle, which is the muscle, you've got your calf muscles, like those two calf muscles in your lower leg, right?
Yep.
Well, underneath the calf is the soleus, which is much bigger than those two little calf balls that you see. The soleus is a thicker muscle, but the soleus is actually, it's like your secondary heart, because the
Really?
circulation's hard. It's very difficult to get the blood from the foot back up. So moving your foot all the time or bouncing your foot, like you see the kids in class that are bouncing like, it's really good. Or you're
Yeah.
sitting on an airplane, just come up onto your toes and just bounce. Like I'm doing it now, you
Hmm.
can't see, but why? You're pumping blood, you're getting that venous return. So yeah, exercise, walking, of course. I mean, people that walk and move a lot, they live long,
Mm.
because what are they doing? They're keeping the system, right? It's one fish tank. If the fish tank's clean, great. If the fish tank gets dirty, it's not like one part of the fish tank gets dirty, the whole system gets messed up. So you start thinking of like, well, what are those things I can do to keep my fish tank clean, keep the blood moving, keep my nerves going? Walking's number one. Walking's the base of your existence. And if somebody can't walk well and they like biking or rowing, like, yeah, I don't want to silo everybody into walking, but it is, humans are walkers. We are designed to walk, and then I think
Yeah.
we're designed to
It's
be
natural. It's a
short.
natural human thing. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very accessible, it's free. But the strength aspect for a lot of people is really important, because muscle is an organ. It really
Mm,
is. And it's very, um, it's metabolically probably the antidote to most issues.
mm.
It's not, and it's not even about like solely chasing muscle mass. No, but it's also the strength, right? Some people have a ceiling, they're not going to get monstrous. It's hard to get big with muscles. But when you have muscle over time, that really is the signal for you to become more efficient at burning fat, because
Mm.
those little factories in your cells, I mean, they're just they love to burn. They love to
I
burn
love
stuff.
it.
Metabolically, it's 2 to 3 days, maybe 3 days max for somebody with
Right.
strength. But I would say at a minimum, two full body routines, even if you set a timer for 20 minutes and say,
This should be long enough. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and it
Yeah.
doesn't need to be complicated. I mean, just move well. Like, if people have time, I throw in mobility exercises, not for the sake of doing mobility exercises, for the sake of restoring whatever's locked up in their body. If
Right.
their hips don't move and they got back pain, I'm like, well, let's get that joint to move again. So then all of a sudden your back doesn't hurt or your knees don't hurt anymore. So
Yeah.
it's it's more finding the areas that are blocked, saying, okay, you're getting some chronic pain in the knees or whatever, Achilles, or yeah, there's a blockage somewhere in there. And typically for most guys and a lot of women, their hips go, because we sit a lot and the hips just get so,
Yeah. We got to
they
stop
get
sitting
so
so much, man.
compressed. Yeah, yeah, they get so compressed. And then once they start understanding how to move their ribs a little bit, they start learning to breathe and they like send air all over their ribs and expand their body a little bit. They
Yeah.
start feeling better. And then you're like, why would I stop doing this? Right? I
Yeah.
just
So
feel better.
let's segue into supplements, because I want to
Yeah.
talk about supplements, because like I said, Demantis, he's got this huge supplement regimen which is
Yep.
insane, and he takes 1,000 supplements a day, NMN and blah blah blah. And I mean, what's your take on all this? I mean, I'm assuming you can, there are good supplements, but you don't want to overdo it. But let's hear what you
I mean,
what your thoughts are.
yeah, I think supplements are, they're there to fill a void that you
Mm,
don't, that you need more of. Like if somebody, I don't know, they don't eat a lot of fiber. I'm like, all right, well, maybe you need to take like a supplement, fiber, like supplement, fiber supplement, or a green strength, like, or somebody's just not eating foods with magnesium and they're cramping all the time. Like, you should probably try taking some magnesium
right.
and see, if you're somebody's like anxious and anxiety, and maybe they're like going like, panic attacks. I would say magnesium. glycinate or some of these other things that can help your brain, and also
Mm,
at night just kind of promote deep relaxation or at least calm down the nervous system. I am all for those. Like I love magnesium, I love creatine. Um, I like just a basic whey protein powder if you can handle dairy, just because it's an easy delivery system to get protein in your body. But I mean, I'm not saying it's better than food, but for a lot of busy people, that's just a really easy way for somebody to bump up their protein levels when it's difficult for them to do it.
right.
So I'm pretty simple in my supplements. I mean, yeah, I mean my wife's always on Instagram and sending, oh, I need to get these brain things, and
I
she's
was going to
buying
ask you,
like
like
all these
berberine,
supplements.
like berberine. What's your take on berberine? Because berberine
Berberine
is
helps.
supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think everybody responds great to it. I mean, I think it.
Mm,
I mean, it's supposed to really help like your blood sugar, right, and like metabolic issues. You look at some of the research, you're like, this stuff's pretty solid, but I have a hard time making a blanket statement that like berberine is the cure. Like I think a much more important thing to do would just be to just because people are in such a hypercaloric state, like
mm,
taking a supplement's not that's just not going to move the needle,
right.
right? It's like what's the domino that's going to everything's going to just fall after that.
It's the
And
food. It's the food.
it's the food, and I so again, I'm not anti-supplements. I take some supplements. I'm
Sure.
not like I take ashwagandha, and turmeric and some other stuff just because like I find it makes
I
me
take
sleep
both of
better.
those as well. I take
Yeah, the
both of those as well.
ashwagandha, I take it in like a powder with
Yeah.
like some other stuff and magnesium, and I just find I just like sleep better when I
Mm,
take it. So I'm not saying it's for everybody, but like research is pretty good. It might raise your testosterone a little bit. I mean, it
yeah.
might raise like some other
What do you
stuff.
think
But
is so people who take metformin even though they don't need to take metformin? Because I've heard that some people are using that as a longevity drug. I mean, what do you think about like even like off-brand, not prescribed metformin?
yeah, I mean, I'm not a medical doctor, so I can't recommend it either way. But I do think, I mean, for some people, it's probably pretty important because some people have
Right.
really crappy ability to deal with insulin. So their
Right.
insulin sensitivity is so poor that the insulin's not getting the glucose into the cell, and that's a problem, right?
Yeah.
You don't need a whole lot of sugar in your blood to like cause massive problems,
Right.
or not to mention like body fat issues. So, yeah, bodybuilders were taking that in the late '80s and '90s.
Really? I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
know that.
bodybuilders were taking metformin, and they were taking it because it's an insulin sensitivity enhancer. So think about
Ah,
it. If you're trying to build muscle and you're trying to get leaner, you're like, well, I'm going to take a drug that's going to, on a molecular level, it's going to, the insulin's going to do its job better. It's going to get it more into the muscle cell or into my liver. Like, that's pretty good. You don't want it floating around, you don't want this high blood sugar and you don't want it in fat cells.
mm.
So, another, yeah, I think a glucophage, I think that actually might be the same thing or it might be something different. A lot of bodybuilders were taking that. I used to study bodybuilding fat loss stuff. I got into it for a bit because I was fascinated by how lean these guys get. But then they're doing a lot of other drugs like clenbuterol and all this
Oh yeah.
crazy stuff that I mean actually killed people. Like it's
Oh
not
yeah. I
super
mean,
healthy.
they were trying to get to a certain physique, and they didn't really care what they were doing to themselves, right? Because
Right, and death
yeah,
sometimes happens. It's just
yeah.
a byproduct. Sometimes not
What
good.
about NMN or any of those other things that are floating out there?
I like I've just read like the whatever the marketing but like I don't. I guess it's supposed to like repair your DNA. It's supposed to like all this anti Alzheimer's stuff. My
Yeah,
wife is gonna take it, so I'll have more information. I don't know. I haven't. I mean, I think if anything, like the GLP-1s for uh, anti-inflammation, or even just like all the plaque in the brain, like that.
yeah,
And again, I'm not saying run out and take GLP-1s, but that's pretty interesting. That
yeah. Because
a
it
lot
doesn't
of
sound like
people,
GLP-1s are like a miracle drug. Is
I've
it?
had a handful of clients that have done it, and for them, it's been an absolute miracle. One guy got really nauseous on it for about a year. I trained him, and he was always very heavy, and just couldn't really, he just couldn't get a handle on it. Right, his appetite was always big, and my God, he melted. It was insane just to
Yeah.
watch him go down from like 260 to like 190, and his cheekbones came back. I was like, what the heck? This was like 4 years ago, dude, like maybe
Yeah.
pre-COVID, but when nobody was even really doing it.
Yeah.
But he wasn't a big drinker. But one of the interesting things is that he said, Franz, I can't drink anymore. He
Mm.
says, I literally gonna vomit if I drink.
Yeah.
You know, he drink on golf
Well, I
trips
think
and
isn't
whatnot.
that what GLP-1s do? They kind of like change your perception at the same time as they're doing what they're doing
I
towards
don't
the
know.
food and and the alcohol.
I don't know the biochemistry. I know it does influence like the kind of like the dopamine reward center, but I also think it on a cellular level. If you look at the intestines, it does something like with the communication of what's called the enteric nervous system, which is your nervous system in your gut. I
Hmm.
don't know enough about it. There's something going on there on the gut level because the gut is, you know, the gut brain axis is real. Like
Yeah, it's amazing how much your
neurotransmitters,
gut actually affects the rest of your body, because I think
everything,
people
everything. Yeah, yeah,
underappreciate that.
yeah. And most of your serotonin is actually made in your gut. I didn't know that. I thought it was only
Mm.
in the brain. I didn't know that your gut made a lot of this stuff. It's crazy. It's absolutely.
Oh, that is
So
nuts.
I don't think I don't think we have enough data to say like, oh yeah, this is 100% anti-Alzheimer's, or like I it's very compelling, and you see people's health get significantly better. Well, what about the side effects? I'm like, well, but the side effects of being 150 pounds overweight are pretty bad. So if
Exactly.
there's side effects from a GLP-1, like I don't know what's worse. I think maybe being 150 pounds overweight is worse. So
Yeah.
I don't criticize people for taking it because
Yeah.
it's like it's their life and it's their health. Like it's not mine. So
Exactly.
I reserve judgment on that because I don't know enough about. But I have seen some lives change. But can you get in shape without a GLP-1? Yes.
Yeah. Well, is there a, I know we only have about 4 minutes left, but what would you say, is there like a minimum stack of supplements that everybody should take, or is that also
I
individualized?
mean, I can just say like in general, like most people don't get enough protein. That just most people they think they're getting enough protein, they're not.
Yeah.
Right? It's like anabolic resistance is real. As you age, you don't absorb as much protein, so you need to eat more of it to absorb more of what you're not going to normally get. So a good protein powder to up your protein, right?
Hmm.
I would say creatine if your stomach can handle it. I know a lot of people get kind of like
I thought
a
that was
stomach
only
issues.
for pre-workout. Can you take creatine anytime?
You can take it anytime. Yeah, I don't really
Really?
buy into. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, just as long as it gets into your system, usually 5 grams. If somebody's sensitive to it, maybe 2.5 grams.
Hmm.
Um, Other people will have all these rules. You got to do 20 grams and 10 grams. Like I just do 5 grams a day. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. So I think that I love magnesium. I've
Any
tried a
particular
bunch of
kind of
different
magnesium?
types. Right now, I'm taking magnesium glycinate.
Glycinate.
Yeah,
Right.
which kind of like helps the nervous system, helps the brain. Um, but there's like a bunch of like good magnesium supplements that have a bunch of different types. So there may be value to doing the different types of magnesium. Like anything, you have user beware. You gotta
Sure.
you gotta
Of course.
kind of try it. I like ashwagandha. I think
Hmm.
ashwagandha is a great supplement. I usually recommend that. There's some interesting gut supplements that are coming out, like spore-based, probiotics or prebiotics. And now
Hmm.
you're seeing supplements that have all of it, like a prebiotic, a probiotic, and a postbiotic. The postbiotics are like GLP-1, right?
Right.
The prebiotic is the food, the fiber, all like 6 different types of fiber that feed the probiotics. The probiotics are, sauerkraut, yogurt. Those are the active guys. But when they poop out, if they're enough of the good guys, they poop out these postbiotics, which are the
Mm.
superheroes. Those are the regulators of appetite. Those are the regulators of mood. Those are so
Oh, interesting.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see gut supplements as we start to learn about how GLP-1 is made naturally and getting the precursors to those, getting the compounds that help you naturally pump out, GLP-1, or you just take a GLP-1. But
Yeah. Just
yeah,
cut to the chase, man. What
yeah.
about D? What about D? Everyone keeps talking about D. We're not getting enough D. Even if I don't know where you live, but it's like we're in the sunlight here. It's beautifully sunny.
I
all
take
day
8.
long.
Yeah, I take 5,000 international units a day, and maybe I take too much. Like my vitamin D's off the chart. I mean, I don't. My liver feels pretty good. Like I haven't had any like health problems, but my vitamin D levels are high. Last time I took it, I was like, whoa, maybe I should back off a bit. So yeah, most people are low. So yeah,
Yeah,
I would say vitamin D is probably a pretty good option. At least 2,500 international units,
yeah.
up to 5,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know we have it's time. So this has been fantastic. Thank you so much. Do you have
Yeah.
any final words that you want to let anybody know before we sign off?
Yeah. I mean, I feel bad that we didn't get to talk about traveling since you've got this. I love the vibe of
Dude,
your
we'll do it
of
again.
your.
We'll do it again. This has been way too short. We have to
Yeah, I
talk.
love the vibe of it, and I will say, even though I'm not a nomad, I am a traveler, and I love traveling. I will always love traveling. I'm going to take a really cool trip to Cape Town, South Africa, in July, which is probably my favorite city on the planet.
Wow.
Um, it is just it's kind of like San Diego but on steroids, right? It's got bigger views. The Atlantic and the Indian Ocean come together. The food there is
Nice.
fantastic. The people are great. It's beautiful. It's yeah, but I'm very bullish on traveling at in any stage of life. Definitely after 50.
Hmm.
Definitely after 50. And yeah, I think I have my opinions on it, and I'm very envious of people that travel more than me. Put it that way.
Awesome. Well, we'll talk again. We'll do another one of these when we'll talk about travel. So
I
thank you
love
so
it.
much. If someone wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
Yeah, they can. I mean, I'm on any of the socials: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Just my name, Franz Snideman. And then now I'm really liking Substack. I'm relatively new to Substack, but I love it. Well, I learned so much on it. I met you. Um, it's just fun. It seems like just there's such good energy and
Yeah.
momentum with Substack. It's becoming like my new favorite place. So anyway,
Yeah.
thank you for having me and for reaching out. And yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
absolutely. Thank you for coming on. And everybody out there, please subscribe to both of our Substacks because we'd love to see you.
yes,
Thank,
absolutely,
thank you so
100%.
much, man. I'll talk
Okay,
to you soon.
all
Have a
right,
good
Chris.
one.
Thanks, man. You got
All
it.
right. Bye.
Thank you.